Good morning. Good morning. Hey, thanks for joining. It's good to be back. I got up this morning and I felt like doing a live stream. I don't have any like big plans today. I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to do some coding and just, hang out with fellow programmers and talk about, whatever comes our way. So I'm glad that you're here. Say hi in chat, leave a like while you're down there. That always helps out. Um, and yeah, I'm glad to be here and do some coding. I'm still in this place where I'm doing a lot of coding lately. I talked about this on stream as well, and I think that showed in my last video as well, the one I published yesterday. I'm super proud of this video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out after this live stream. Yeah, it was a super fun project to work on as a video, not just the code I wrote there, but the video itself was super cool. So hello everyone, hello Topolek and Oliver and whoever else is in chat. Do say hi in chat, I appreciate that. Yeah, what I want to do today is first start by talking a bit about, you probably heard it, property hooks, right? It blew my mind last week. Let's check here. Property hooks, the property hooks RFC. We did a live stream about that as well, and the RFC went into voting phase last week. And I was talking with Larry about it in chat, just the evening that it went live. And immediately, I think it got like 12 upvotes, 12 votes yes, and 0 votes no, which was a very good start. And then the day after, I went back, I looked at it in the morning, and I think it was like 25 votes. And now there are 35 votes yes, and only 1 vote no. This is by far one of the the most like accepted RFC by the majority. Like so many people voting yes here is really great. We talked about property hooks on a live stream as well, and I was very happy to see that after the live stream, and I gave some feedback on the live stream, but people in internals also gave feedback. And Larry and Ilya, they really went out of their way to listen to that feedback and extract the relevant parts from it, and adjust the RFC accordingly. Which it's just really great. I think this is by far like the most fleshed out RFC I've seen in PHP history. I think Nikita's RFCs come close, but this is kind of on another level. And something we experienced in our live stream a couple of weeks ago was that there's a lot of information here, and I was a bit afraid that there would be too much. The scope would be too large to be like considered by people voting. But apparently I was very wrong in that regards, and Larry told me this as well. We need this RFC really needs to cover all the edge cases, because otherwise property hooks, they wouldn't work. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. I'm the only downside of this RFC, the fact that it's getting accepted, is that I will have to rewrite like so many classes and interfaces in Tempest, which it will be an interesting project, but it will be so worth it, because if you are totally unaware about property hooks, let me grab an example from the RFC here. Property hooks, they allow you to hook into property read and write operations, meaning you don't have to provide getters and setters anymore. And you can add property hooks on, let's see, on properties that actually have a value, but they can also be like virtual properties if they only have a get hook, if I remember correctly. So that, for example, let me search your first name. We're at the very bottom of the RFC. It's a long one. Let's check here. Name. Where's that example? Oh yeah, a full name. It was full name. Like this, for example. If there wasn't a set method here, it would be kind of a virtual property. Actually, these aren't methods; these are hooks. But Anyway, yeah, I'm super excited about it. The biggest thing that excites me about this RFC is not necessarily the fact that it gets rid of so much boilerplate, although that will be super useful. But actually, it's about being able to define property hooks in interfaces. Because as soon as we got, let's see, a read-only properties and read-only classes afterwards. I really want to just use properties because we can enforce that with read-only. We could enforce that data wasn't altered afterwards. So you don't really need methods like a getter and a setter for each property because, once it's set, once the object is constructed, the data just stays there and it can't be adjusted, which is something that happens quite a lot when you start to use value objects and data transfer objects. But the downside of read-only properties when they were added is that you can't add them on interfaces, right? So you still, if you want to program to an interface, which is something I really like to do, you still have to provide methods. And this is something that happens in Tempest quite a lot, actually. Let me actually grab an example here. Let's see, like for example, a request interface, right? There are so many getters here because you want to program to an interface. It's something I really think is the better approach, but this just sucks having to implement all these methods because with every method also comes a property. So it's so much overhead. And so I'm looking forward to being able to write something like this. If I remember the syntax right, I think it's something like this. Interface, yeah, this is exactly it. So this, instead of this, but that also means, of course, that in every implementation, no implementation file, generic request, that's weird. Every implementation basically can get rid of like all these getter methods, right? Which will be so useful. It will have such a huge impact, and it's another like way of programming, but I really like it a lot. So this is one of the best things that happened to PHP in recent history. I'm fairly confident I can say that. Like the same level as enums were probably as large. Something a feature I really liked are promoted properties as well, which were added a couple of versions ago. Type properties in 7.4, of course, was super big. Attributes as well, but like this is on the same level, and I'm super happy that it's getting added. I mean, we're sure at this point that it's this is gonna be added in 8.4. So it also means that Tempest will have to wait another half year before I can release a version 1, because I really want this. I want property hooks to be in the first version, and you can imagine it's a pretty big breaking change. When let me push my screen here a little bit. It's a pretty big breaking change if you get rid of so many interface methods. So yeah, I don't know why, but my camera is shaking. That's weird. I'm pushing it in a way, I think. But anyway, so yeah, that's property hooks. I was reading, by the way, through the RFC list for like the accepted RFCs. For 8.4, right? Ooh, let's scroll a bit down, like over here. I have to say, like, these are all like relatively small changes or additions. Like, what's it called in English? Like the fine tuning, the details. They're all good things, I would say, but nothing I really get excited about to actually like upgrade to 8.4. I had the same feeling with 8.3, honestly. But now with property hooks, it's gonna be huge. So it's gonna be huge. Yeah, I'm super happy with it. So one thing I had to mention about it as well is that I'll be doing a live stream together with Larry, so one of the authors of the RFC, Larry Garfield, next week on Tuesday. I'll post a link, or I'll schedule the live stream somewhere later this week. So make sure to subscribe if you want to get some updates on that. And I'm gonna sit down with Larry. I'm gonna talk about this RFC. Gonna talk about the RFC process in general. And if you wanna come hang out and ask your questions, it will be live. So Larry will be able to talk to all of us together. So yeah, it will be nice. It will be very cool. Let's take a look at chat here. Hello, Rorschach. Rorschach. That's the psychological test, right? With black blobs thingies, the Rorschach test or whatever it's called. And Kusei, or whatever it's pronounced. Glad you're here. Topalek, you want to know where I'm from? I'm from Belgium. Little country, maybe some people don't know where it is. It's in the center of Europe. Yeah, and I just work full time from home because JetBrains doesn't have an office in Belgium. So, but I'm good here. Okay, so that was the Property Hooks RFC. Really happy about it. Something else I wanted to talk about today is to do some coding actually. If you've seen this last video of mine, this one, here it is. This is such a cool video that I did. I'm super happy with it. Yeah, we built I started building a console framework. It was a super fun project to work on. I'm really excited about it. And as I said before, making this video was also super nice. So if you want to, I would really appreciate you checking out this video after the live stream. Give it a like as well. I really wish that these videos, they can inspire people, So it's more than, I'm not making like code tutorial videos. I want to show off the things we can do with PHP, right? And the cool stuff we can do with PHP. And so I want to do some coding on this package as well. So it's still a huge work in progress. I really like how what it's turning into. I really challenged myself to think out of the box and to to come up with a console framework that is easy to use, that gets out of your way, which is kind of the thing we've been doing with Tempest here. And I think it's been half a year ago when I did live streams, where I started working on this console package. It was included in the general framework at first. Let me actually check here. Yeah, here, 8 months ago. This was the first time I started working on my on the console stuff. Yeah, and I want to work on it some more. Maybe it's a good idea to show you what it does today if you haven't seen this video yet. So let's start with that, right? So this is the source code here. I have this habit of just adding an app folder in my package code because I like to play around and not having to set up several projects, right? So this is just, so I have this here with some dummy data and it's committed to the repository. I probably get rid of it once there's a stable release, but for now it's it's pretty useful. Let's actually show this class here. So, and this one. So this console application framework, right? So this is the bare minimum you need to run it. And one of the things I'm pretty proud of, one of the things I think work really well is that Tempest uses discovery. So it scans your source code and it will automatically register commands. So you don't have to worry about like manually mapping commands and to classes or other invocable class handlers. The reason I'm adding like some config here is because of how this project is configured. This is a let's see, this is a dev dependency in my case, because I don't want it to be auto-loaded when people install this package. So I have to add some more lines here to, actually, I only need to do this, I think, anyway. So one of the core principles is that once you boot the application, it will scan your code and it will cache everything in production. Don't worry about performance. And it will register console commands. And a console command is like annotated or attributed with console, the console commands attribute. Anything that has this attribute is a registered console command. That's a mouthful. Another cool thing, something I like at least, is that like these method definitions, right? They are built based on the method itself, and not like having to manually configure which flags and options are available. Let's actually see here, hello test. I have the worst naming conventions here, hello test. Oh, it's over here. So, okay, there's a little bit more config here, but let's get rid of this. And that's fine. So we have an optional value here. We have a flag here, and these parameters are automatically translated to the console commands definition, which I really like. You know, there's no like manual mapping done in between. There are some limitations to this approach, but I think that's totally fine, because in the end, you just want variables, right? So yeah, I really like that. And another thing I really like is the interactive parts here. Oh no, I broke it. Oh, that's so sad. That's actually, huh? Wait. Why is this? Oh, that's so sad. I don't know why it doesn't work. Well, it works, but it doesn't work properly. I'm totally mind blown right now. Let me actually check whether it works in a nightly. Yeah, sure. It's a work in progress. Don't blame me. Oh, yeah. Okay. Here we are. Let's try it out here in the new console, Tempest. Oh, PHP Storm is doing some things. Interactive. Oh yeah, it works over here. Okay, so I have some I have some edge cases to solve still. Well then, you know, let me show it over here instead of in the other one, I guess. Like so. Okay, so I was talking about interactive components that work just out of the box without any problems, right? So interactive, let's say password here. So I made these components that you can, you know, that provide like more interactivity. That instead of just pressing like writing something and then pressing enter. So this is, I really like these components, and the cool thing about them, except for the fact that they apparently don't work yet everywhere, is that they are super easy to make. So for example, this let's actually check here the options. Yeah, I meant this one. So we'd like clear. Oof. Oh, now I have to clear. Come on. Yes. Okay. So this one, for example, right, where you move up and down with your mouse, your keyboard arrows. This is the question component, right? And it has a render method, and every time an update happens, so to speak, it gets re-rendered. And updates happen because of key presses in most cases. And they are just methods here on these components with the handles key attribute and everything else. So this is it, right? So there is you give it a question and some options, and then there is a selected option variable here. That's the state, right? So whenever I move my my cursor or whatever you want to call it, the selected option gets changed and the component gets re-rendered. And it's a very easy, simple approach to making these kinds of interactive components, and it's really fun to do so. So yeah, for example, here the up and left keys, what they do is they decrease selected option with 1, except when it's less than 0, then it will overflow to the end of the line. I can probably refactor this with a min-max function, but it doesn't matter. And down or right is the other way, right? So that's pretty cool. I'm really happy like how relatively easy it was to implement all of this. Of course, there are some bugs still with re-rendering, as you've seen in the old terminal, but yeah, it's super cool. And I really like, especially like these small things like confirm, having to be able to use your arrows. I don't know if you can, right? You can still write yes or no, and it updates accordingly. Small things. It makes console applications a lot more fun to work with. So that's another thing I'm pretty excited about. Let's take a look at chat here. Daryl, that's a very nice compliment of you, how to get good at video editing and programming at the same time. I guess whatever it is, if it's just something you're passionate about, it doesn't really, it doesn't take much energy to want to learn, and it makes it just fun to work with. And programming and video editing just happen to be both passions of mine. So yeah, other people play music, which I'm very jealous about, because I would like to be able to play some music. And I've always said that if I like win the lottery or something, or get a huge what's the English word, like a heritage, I would, and if there's one thing I would like to do is take some music lessons. But there's just no time, or I cannot really, I don't feel like I can justify that at the moment. But video editing and programming are pretty nice. Blog posts are also on my list there. It's different for everyone, but as long as you do things that you like, and that things that you don't have to do but want to do, I think that's the key. Belgium has the best chocolate in the world. Yeah, I don't know. I think chocolate is overrated anyway. Treasure, hi. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, thank you. By the way, quick side note here. I've been dealing with this cough for months now, and I talked about this on stream as well. And last week I went to the doctor, and we decided, okay, let's go the acid reflux route for a while and try some things out there, because I was doing like inhalers and respiratory stuff and didn't really make a difference. And I started taking anti-acid medication kind of stuff, and it solved my cough. But unfortunately, I got so sick and nauseous because of it. I guess we're on the good route now. We're in the right direction, and now we have to find out the medication that works. And also, of course, like changing my diet a bit, probably. So yeah. Are you in which project I'm working? This is Tempest, right? Oh yeah, and Oliver also said this. This is Tempest. You can head over to Tempest. My microphone is in a way tempest.stitcher.io. You can read a little bit about how it works if you want to. It's a real fun project. It's still super work in progress, but it's nice to work on. Now I have to. Let's quit that one, and let's use this one. Okay, so console components. What else is there to say? Oh yeah, I'm using Tempest Highlight, like the highlighter we wrote a couple weeks ago, to like manage these terminal styling, basically. So like blue stuff and the things over here. Yeah, it's really convenient. I really like that. So I think those are like the big features of this little framework I'm writing. It's a slightly different approach to what Symfony Console does. Symfony Console is great, by the way. and it does so much more, and it does everything so much more stable than what I have. But you know, it's just fun to to play around with all of these things. So yeah, what I want to do today is let's check it out here. So I have this fail command, right? Oh yeah, this is something that's also available. I use Tempest highlight to render exceptions, which I think this is really useful. I think Laravel does this as well, but this is in my mind so much better than just having to trace a stack trace, right? A blob of text. However, I do want to be able to do this with every command. So pass the -v for verbose flag, and then it should show basically the whole trace. That's the idea. So let's first share a link here because you're asking about it. Here's the link to Tempest in chat. So yeah, I want to add this minus or -v support today. I want to try it out. I haven't really thought about how to do it, so I hope it will work. Here's the thing, though. There are some people helping out with this project, and so I'm not 100% sure anymore how everything works in detail. Of course I've reviewed like the pull requests, but yeah, I might run into some things that I'm like, what's happening here? I didn't write that code. But one thing I know for certain is that there's this console argument bag which grabs all the input when you write a command and yeah, puts it like in array here. So I think if we dump this out, so yeah. So here we have an argument with our -v. Now in our case, it doesn't really map to anything because our fail command here, it doesn't have any flags. I actually wonder if this would work, or bool. No, this isn't a valid character. Actually, we don't have a way to pass in flags yet. Now that I think of it, that's okay. That's okay. Well, actually, we do. I think we can do bool verbose, and then we can do. I didn't write this part, so console argument, right? And then we can say aliases is -v. I think that will work. It should work. If it doesn't work, it's a problem. But this is not the way we're gonna solve it, because this is just too verbose. Let's get rid of this, and yeah, see, it doesn't work yet, but this should work. So let me actually, I'm gonna make an issue for that. Tempest console here. Pass in flags as aliases. Bool verbose, something like this, right? Okay. Okay, good. This is not what we want to do anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We want global flags, right? Because you want to be able to pass the -v. I call it -v. It's -v, or I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, the v flag. You want to pass it to any command, and you don't want to configure it always. And another one, by the way, that we'll have to add is -help -that. Oh, come on. Are these two? But let's start with the verbose one. So we have our argument bag, which already has, it already has it, right? let's double check that again. Yeah, it already has the -v argument here. So I'm thinking, let's actually check what happens here. So when we create a console application, it has an instance of argument bag, and console application is also registered in the container, which is a good thing because we have our exception handler here. What if we say application like this? What happens if we do this? Okay, so we actually have our application here. So it's going to be super trivial to actually, I have to do console application, of course. I don't know if, will that work? Yeah, it does. Let's take a look. These are private, of course, and this is one more instance where I'm sorry, I'm trying to think out loud where properties would be useful, right? What I'm gonna do is just make it public for now, and I know that's technically not correct, but in PHP 8.4 we'll do this, and then we'll do this, and then you will be able to get it, but not set it anymore, I believe. I don't know if that's the right syntax, but something like that, So now let's grab the argument back and dump it here. And yeah, this is what I was afraid of, what's actually happening here. So most of Tempest is programmed towards interfaces, right? So there isn't really a console application instance registered in the console. That's not really a problem. So I think if we change this to application and then run it, yeah, then we have the right argument back, and that's because what's happening over here, right? So we register a singleton for the application interface and return the actual application. But then we don't have auto-completion. So I think if we do console, or maybe if we do this console, I actually don't know how the container will handle these. I think it will just look at the first type. Yeah, and it works. So unfortunately, PHP Storm says this is technically an error. There's too much information here. You don't need it because you can just write it like this. But I'm just gonna disable that inspection because I actually need it for the container to work. Okay, so now we have the right argument back. That's nice. We have application here in our exception handler. And now let's take a look. So what we do here, we handle whenever an exception happens, right? We write the exception class, and then when there is a message, we also write the message, we write another line, we write the code snippet, right? And then we write the path. And this is the place where we want to be able to say, so if, let's just write it out in full first, and then we can refactor it and clean it up, right? So this application argument back, okay, so this is a part I didn't write, so I'm not sure. Yeah, this is not something I want. I actually just want to know whether there's a argument with, for -v, right? So maybe we should just add a method here, has, or maybe it should be get, and then console input argument. Does get already exist? What's the problem here? It's probably nothing. Get name, right? Yeah, and then we'll loop over this arguments as argument. If argument name equals name, will return argument, and otherwise will return no, right? So get -v, let's say this. Ooh, nope. That's not, it doesn't really work. Let's dump this and see what happens. That's null. Let's check this one. Oh yeah, value. Yeah, this is just a bug here still, I would say. Let's see. So, oh yeah, console argument from string, right? Yeah. So what I have to do here, else if string starts with argument like this, then we'll say return new console input argument. The name equals argument, the value equals null or true. Value is true. Does that work? Well, let's see whether we get it. Yeah, that works. Okay. I have to do some fine tuning there still as well. Let's check here in chat. Are you using GitHub Copilot? No, I actually don't know. I'm using AI Assistant, but it's I have to restart my IDE to enable it, so I'm not going to do that. That's because I'm on a nightly build right now, because my interactive components only works in this terminal. But I'm gonna fix that. No worries. So if we have the verbose option here, if we don't, we can just write this, and otherwise what we want to do is write a line, and then we'll say for each throwable, get trace as trace, and then we'll say this console write line, and now we'll have to check out what's in trace. It's really unfortunate that there's no like object API for this, and it's just all arrays. So file and line, those are the two I actually want. So let's say trace file and trace line. Oh yeah, and this isn't AI Assistant. This is just PHP Storm's full line code completion, which is also powered by AI but locally, which is this is a really cool feature. And then we say console write line. Okay, what happens now? Oh no, an undefined key, of course. So what's in here? File line, function. Oh yeah. File line. Okay, so we have to like format our trace correctly. So I'm gonna add a method here. Format trace. Okay. So if is set trace file, then we'll return this. Else, I don't know what else we return. Let's see, file and line, function, class. Or else we'll probably return this. So trace function. No, what I want to do is set trace class. Yeah. Yeah, then I want to do this, and else I want to do that. Okay, let's try that out. Good. And now one more thing we need to add here is like the key. Yeah, I'm getting there. Something like this. Okay, and a space. Okay, so that's cool. Now, in case we have a file and a line, we want to underline it. That's just done by the highlight package. Like so, because those are clickable, because you go to the right place immediately. And what else do I want to do here? Oh, in this case, I also want right line over here. Okay. Good. And then when we pass -v, we get the full trace. Cool. That's be nice. Why does... So this is here. I don't really understand why there's no like file and line number here, because PHP should know about that, right? It is what it is. Maybe it would be nice. Let's check here. Format trace. It would be nice if we would do something like string replace this application. Yeah, I don't have, well, let's just private app config. I don't know, I'm just experimenting here, but if we say app, here, please. Pressing all the wrong buttons. This always happens when I have the microphone in front of my what did I call it? App config. So let's say we replace the root path with nothing, and then is that better? I don't know if that's better. No, because then we can't click it anymore. That's super worse. Okay. Let's remove it. Like so, and then we can get rid of app config again. We don't need it. Like so. Okay. Okay. I think I like that. Pretty cool. I think that's good. So one thing I'm wondering about, can we get that -v thing, like alias, to work as well? Because let's go to our fail command. Failing command. Actually, yeah, because this is this a problem? Let's see. What's oh no, this is not a problem. So the -v isn't passed to here. What if we or is it? No, it's still default. So hello, this should end up in the in the exception. Okay, that's good. That all works. And oh, I need to add a void return type here. Yeah, so what I wanted to try here is bool verbose equals false, and then we'll say console argument aliases -v, and then verbose should in this case be true, but it's false. So will that be easy to solve? I don't know. Look, we have here a method find for. Oh, this is in the argument bag, we have find for, and then we have a definition, which represents like the parameters here. So verbose, alias, -v, okay. So we loop over each argument here in the argument bag, and we check whether it matches, the definition matches that argument, and if it matches, we'll return argument. So actually we have to go in here. So if the position is the same, that's for positional arguments. If the name isn't the same, and then for aliases, here we have to do probably the other way around. So we loop over, let's check, verbose and -v, and we check whether the alias equals the name of the argument. That should work, right? It should already work. I want it to be like this. If argument name is alias, then that should work, I think. But it doesn't, because let's see here, because there's only the verbose. That's weird. Oh, because return, because it's in here. That's actually a bug. Let's return false. That's what it should be. And now it's true. Is that better? And we can just do this, right? Like so. Okay. So now it's true, then it's false. Okay, now that works as well. Okay. I think that's like, this is good enough. Yeah, a good enough way to link these kinds of flags to actual parameters. That is fine. Okay, cool. So that means oh no, let's run my QA here. Check that nothing breaks. I'll have to write some tests for this as well. But still work in progress, right? Support for minus v. Push. And we can close this one. And oh, I didn't even have an issue for that, but okay. Now it's support for help and like this, because that should actually render the help message, but that's pretty boring because that's just text. That's writing text in the right places. Okay, good. So okay, that's pretty nice. That went smoother than expected. Now I have to fix my broken components. I'm not gonna do that on stream. Believe me, I've spent hours and hours like fixing the re-rendering stuff. Let me actually show you here. Render console component. It's not all too difficult. So what happens, right? Let me walk you through what happens here. Tempest interactive. I meant option. Yeah, okay. Now I want it at the top again. Okay. So whenever I press a key here, it re-renders the view, right? But within the terminal, that's not the most easy. Well, it should be a pretty easy thing to do. So you move the cursor back to here. You don't see the cursor because the cursor is hidden in this case, but you move the cursor back to this place, and then you clear everything after the cursor, and then you write the new view, the re-rendered view again. So, and in this case, like every key press, it doesn't change the length of the view. So it looks like we're just updating the same view, but that's of course not the case. We're always rendering a new frame, basically. It gets interesting when you have things like ask, where you can write text and you actually need the cursor to be in a specific place, right? So you need to remember where the cursor is placed. Then you go back to here, you hide the cursor, you go back to the start, you clear everything. Then you write the new view, and then you place the cursor back in the place where it used to be, right? So so that's interesting. However, apparently, let's try it in iTerm here. Over here. Yeah. Let's go to here, and then we say Tempest console. Well, Okay, here it does work actually, which is good. You can see it flicker sometimes, right? I don't know if you can see that on stream, but that's, yeah, there it happened. That's the, oh, once again, that's a re-rendering. I don't know if that can be fixed. I mean, it's still a terminal, right? Okay, so it actually works here. So it's the old, hang on a second. Let's disable it. It's the old thing here. Oh no, it works here as well. Huh. I don't, when did, okay, yeah. Yeah, this is a classic one. Oh, and there's a bug still here. Like, you can see my cursor is gone now because it's, yeah, okay, so when you're at the bottom, when there's overflow basically, there's still this bug. Maybe that also happens here. No, that didn't happen. No, it doesn't happen in this terminal. It happens in the other terminals. Okay. I thought I fixed that. Believe me. Okay. I really don't feel like debugging that on stream, unfortunately. Oh, that's such a... yeah, that's it has something to do with cursor placement and min and max values. Actually, let me check one thing real quickly here. Yeah. No, I don't know, and I'm not gonna debug it on stream because it's gonna be a pain. It's gonna be a pain. Anyway, if you have some experience with terminal stuff and you want to help out, the repository is open source, so feel free to to send a PR. It's just a matter of, you know, playing around with it and fixing it again. But yeah, well, I'll figure it out. So let me check here. With all of that being said, there we are. Good. See, we're gonna conclude the stream here. I had some fun. We did some productive stuff, right? Like I said, if you want to help out, go check out the Tempest console repository. That would be nice. And yeah, leave a like, comment if you're watching afterwards and you want to share some thoughts. Thanks for being here in chat with me, and I'll see you next time. Okay. Bye bye.